All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we are going to talk about Errol Spence Jr.'s trainer, Derrick James, and what another world-class trainer had to say about him training Anthony Joshua, and how it is a mistake on the part of Anthony Joshua. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we are going to be talking about the heavyweight division and the trainer of the year, Derrick James, who is the trainer for Errol Spence Jr. and now the trainer for former unified heavyweight champion, Anthony Joshua. Now, before I get into the content of it, though, or the specifics of it, as usual, I got to welcome you back to the channel, longtime subscribers and recent subscribers. Thank you so much for chopping it up with me about this boxing. Also, if you are new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. It is completely free. And thank you to everybody that supports the channel in the Cash Apps and the Super Chats and the live streams and in the Super Thanks and videos like this. It is how the channel goes around continually and is allowed to grow. But let's get into this, man, because I was, perusing the boxing news, and I run into a statement that was made about Errol Spence Jr.'s trainer, Derrick James. Now, Derrick James, if you're not familiar with him, is the trainer of the year. I do believe he was the WBC trainer of the year. I do believe he was also the trainer of the year for several other organizations. Very, very well deserved. Had a tremendous year last year when his one fighter of his, Jermell Charlo, became the undisputed champion at 154 pounds. And another one of his charges, Errol Spence Jr., became a three-belt unified champion at 147 pounds when he beat Yordenis Ugas and took Ugas's WBA super belt. And then after that, he had a big come up with another one of his fighters, a lightweight that goes by the name of Frank the Ghost Martin, who beat Michel Rivera, another highly touted prospect, in one-sided fashion. And now is one of the top contenders in the lightweight division. Now, it was announced by maybe about a month ago that Derrick James is now going to be taking on somebody else in the heavyweight division, and that is Anthony Joshua. Now, Anthony Joshua used to hold the WBA, the IBF, and the WBO heavyweight championships. He lost to Andy Ruiz, won the belts back, then beat, I can't remember who exactly he was. He beat in his next fight. After that, I do believe he got in there with Alexander Usyk, and then he lost back-to-back fights with Alexander Usyk. So he let go of his previous trainer, Rob McCracken, and hired Robert Garcia, the trainer and brother of Mikey Garcia, another world champion, and hired him he hired him in between after the first Alexander Usyk fight, going into the second Alexander Usyk fight. And in working with Robert Garcia, he still lost the second fight. Now, in my opinion, and I think it's fair to say his opinion of other people, Anthony Joshua looked better in the second fight with Robert Garcia than he did in the first fight with Rob McCracken. But at the end of the day, man, he lost and he decides to move on to Derrick James. So Manny Robles, who is a very well-known, renowned trainer in the United States, came out and said that he believed that making that change from Robert Garcia to Derrick James is a mistake for Anthony Joshua. And the reason that he said that he believes that it is a mistake is that Anthony Joshua looked better in the second Usyk fight than he looked in the first. And that that Anthony Joshua should have stayed with Garcia so they would have had more time to work with each other and they could continue to improve. And basically said, at least this is my interpretation of what he said, that it was unfair to Robert Garcia just to get one camp, just to have one camp and have that camp be somebody like Alexander Usyk, where now that Anthony Joshua's with Derrick James is going to get an opportunity to fight, to train Anthony Joshua for fights that are not going to be as difficult as the Alexander Usyk fight was, right? So he is basically saying, look, man, it's unfair to Robert Garcia. I didn't hear anywhere in what he said that where he talked about how Robert Garcia was a better trainer and a trainer that's more suited to the style of Anthony Joshua than the style of fighting that has been trained by Derrick James, right? Now, my take on it is this. I do not know what the relationship was with Robert Garcia and Anthony Joshua. However, if Anthony Joshua is not comfortable with Robert Garcia, then that is probably something that he probably should change. Anthony Joshua, is not somebody that has a track record of switching trainers very easily. He has stayed with Rod McCracken from his amateur days all the way into the professional rankings, and had a loss, and it took 2 losses before he said, "Hold on, man, let me think. Maybe I need to do something different. Maybe I need to change something up." Where people had been making suggestions to Anthony Joshua to change trainers for a very long time. So I don't see how Anthony Joshua is just somebody that willy-nilly switches trainers, right? He may have worked with Robert Garcia and really not liked Robert Garcia or didn't feel a real chemistry with Robert Garcia. Now, in my opinion, if you look at the styles of the people that they train, Derrick James, I think, probably is a better match as far as the style of boxing that he puts out with his fighters, which is a very, very defensively responsible style, but at the same time is somebody that really has his fighters working the body, wearing out his the opponents over a course of time. And then there's also the fact that the motivating factor in working in that gym where you have guys that are next to you and working with you that are undisputed champions and 3-belt holding and 3-belt unified champions like Jermell Charlo and Errol Spence Jr. That to me just seems like right there, if you are in the gym with them, if you're in Texas training at a world-class gym in Dallas, that you're just around that and in that type of work ethic from guys that have what you want, right? Guys that had a guy that has what you had and you want back, right? And Errol Spence Jr. holding three of those belts, and somebody that has what you want, which is Jermell Charlo, that is an undisputed champion. And these guys are very likely could be feeding off of each other, getting and training early. And you also have guys like, if you look at it, the dynamic with Errol Spence, where Errol Spence Jr., after he won his belts, kind of, and by his own admission, it slacked off a little bit, and started blowing up in weight in between fights. Maintained, overcame car accidents, and then got his discipline back, got his hunger back, and performed much better in his last fight with Ugas than he did in his previous fight against Danny Garcia. So to me, I had said from the time that I heard that Anthony Joshua was looking for a trainer, that Derrick James is probably the guy that he should have went with. And there's another side of it is that Derrick James doesn't have a lot of fighters, right? Derrick James does not have a lot of fighters in that, he has those 3 fighters, Frank, Martin, Jermell Charlo, and Errol Spence Jr. So now if he takes on a 4th, he actually probably still has the time to actually work with Anthony Joshua on a consistent basis and not split his time, right? Not saying that Robert Garcia didn't do that, because I don't know that to be the case, but you really don't see fighters leaving Derrick James, where you've seen some people that were working with Robert Garcia that, left Robert Garcia. So it's going to be interesting to see however, what the outcome of it is. I just don't think that it is fair to, first of all, I don't think it's fair to Anthony Joshua to just assume he went to Derrick James because he's being flighty and switching trainers willy-nilly, seeing as he had kept his one trainer for so very, very long, right? And then to go to Derrick James, who is somebody that I think has a style of training and motivating fighters that, has been working very consistently for a number of years. And he's not only, developed fighters from scratch, he's also found fighters and improved upon them. Man, I don't think he could have found a better pick, but we'll see what happens in the future, and only time will tell. You let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I am out. Deuces.